Hello, welcome to this month's episode of Mckoy Talk Business, hosted by the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Commerce and BELTRAIDE. I am Nikki Augustine. Thank you for joining us. And in case you missed it, here's what happened in August. BELTRAIDE's Belize Training and Employment Center, BTEC, and the Small Business Development Center of Belize, SBDC Belize, teamed up to deliver an entrepreneurial readiness training for inmates at COVID Foundation, and is one of the many training sessions offered to help participants learn concepts to develop their business ideas and help their re-entry into society. Marcella Richards, the acting manager of BTEC, tells us more about this session.
The Entrepreneurial Readiness Training was a collaborative effort on behalf of the Colby Foundation and BELTRAIDE. BTEC worked alongside our sister unit, SBDC Belize. Our goal was to empower the inmates, both men and women, to help build their capacity through soft skills and business development sessions. Inmates at the Colby Foundation have the opportunity to learn industrial skills, and with the help of our sessions, we were able to provide them with insight on how to better themselves and also how to hone their business module ideas. BELTRAIDE has facilitated trainings at the Colby Foundation in the past, and we look forward to a continued partnership.
On August 1st, the government of Belize, through a collaborative effort led by the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Commerce, the Ministry of Labor, Local Government and Rural Development, and BELTRAIDE, launched the first round of the Msme support program. This program offers $14.5 million in the form of grants, loans, and wage subsidies to assist micro, small, and medium enterprises negatively impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. The second round of the program opened on August 25th and is scheduled to close at midnight on August 31st. Those wishing to apply for the program can visit the Government of Belize COVID-19 website at covid19.bz/Belize MSP or call 0800-CALL-MSP or 613-7342. For this episode of Mckoy Talk Business, the Export Belize unit of BELTRAIDE hosted a virtual roundtable discussion called Making It Count in CARICOM. The webinar looked at export opportunities, trade processes, and also discussed experiences and key takeaways from the private sector. Let's take a look.
We had about 8 member states that requested CET suspension. And some of the goods that I'm going to list have to do with the number of times they requested it and the amounts. So they're in large quantities. So we had from Barbados, Dominica, Guyana, Jamaica, Suriname, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and Trinidad in 2019. And some of the products are palm oil, like Barbados requested that, corn oil, Dominica wanted palm oil, turmeric powder, and many of these products are products that we can supply, but unfortunately not in the quantity they request. And so these are things that the private sector can look at and see, can we invest in this? Is it worthwhile? Depending on the trends and the number of times the private sector makes this request.
It's important for us to realize that 60% of Belize's revenue is really from services. And we have to understand, like Tricia mentioned, that symmetry, that support, because for every manufacturing firm, there is a service company which is providing that software, that design, that engineering, that delivery. The impact on small businesses are going to be the greatest. And 1 out of 4 small businesses in these developing countries like Belize will close permanently due to COVID-19 crisis. However, this data doesn't show the number of small businesses that will be doing better because of their willingness to innovate and shift.
For the full roundtable discussion, visit BELTRAIDE's Facebook and YouTube pages. This virtual roundtable discussion leads us into Mckoy Talk Business's industry chat hosted by Shahera Mckoy of Export Belize. In this episode, we spoke to Mr. Nikita Usher, Group Marketing and Sales Manager of Citrus Products of Belize Limited, who gave us an in-depth look at the experiences and challenges and opportunities of trading in CARICOM pre and post-COVID-19.
Today we are chatting with an industry expert, Mr. Nikita Usher, Group Marketing and Sales Manager for the Citrus Products of Belize Limited. Mr. Usher has immense trade experience in both Belize and in regional and international markets. He will share insights today with us on making it count in CARICOM. What are some key considerations when selling into CARICOM?
Key consideration, what we have found over the years is that CARICOM has now become similar to some of our first world markets, particularly in Europe. When we moved products into Europe, a shift occurred in the early 2000s when we started to see movements towards having certification becoming a key component to exporting your products into Europe. The US was similar, and now we're starting to see CARICOM following in similar suit.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on those types of certification that is being sought by the market?
Certainly. One of the key components is that we're making a food that's supposed to be safe for human consumption. And it deals with not just food safety, but also the quality of the food that you're actually putting in the market. So while initially we were only concentrating on the laboratory tests of the products that we produce, it is far and more beyond that now, where we're actually tracing from the point of that product entering the containers. Those containers has to be sealed when we receive them. We do inspection of those containers. They're sealed when they're outgoing from Belize. The seal numbers are provided to customers so that customers can ensure that when they receive it, it is the same seal that they're receiving it and there was no switch of that product. That's a food safety mechanism, but also the quality management, that system that we have to have in-house to support the product that we produce, from the point of production to the point of traceability of that product all the way down to the farm that it came from. We must now know what that farmer is using inside their fields, what chemicals they're using. Is it on the ban list of chemicals? Is it going to be traced inside our product? These are how severe it has now become in ensuring that the product that you're producing is safe for human consumption.
What are some of the easiest aspects of selling into CARICOM?
Easiest would be because they're no different than Belizeans. We're all CARICOM brothers and sisters, and we all seem to think in a similar manner. Our likes and dislikes seems to always be aligned. And so I think that makes it very easy to move in there. Most of our CARICOM countries are English speaking. And so our labels and all the rest of it can align with what they're requiring in their marketplace. That makes it very easy.
Can you now switch and talk about some of the most challenging aspects?
We have some of the larger nations like Trinidad, like Jamaica, who would want to have the products that they would require. They would prefer to have it from a first world country because they sometimes believe that coming out of CARICOM member state might not be of the highest quality. You know, we've lived on the syndrome that if you come from states, then it's the best. No? So we've had that challenge. We've had challenges where they've gone to HOTED to request for the products to come, permission to import from outside of the region. And so we have always had to be alert in Belize to ensure that our product is foremost, that we will not allow any member state to be importing outside of the region. And so that has been our most major challenge, to keep on top of that.
Can you provide an overall assessment of the various specific markets? What should exporters know about these specific markets?
Trinidad, particularly Trinidad and Jamaica, are the two most sophisticated marketplace in CARICOM. They are almost mocking a first world requirement. I recall one instance in Trinidad where our products could not get in because we were using a word on the label that says 100% not pure and natural. And their definition of natural was a little different than what we define natural to be. And so we had some issues going in. So my first advice to any exporter is to ensure that the labels that you're going to be putting inside the marketplace is acceptable by their quality people, by their equivalents of a Baja going into Trinidad, particularly, and Jamaica. It's not to say that we can't get into Trinidad or we can't get into Jamaica. It just means that you have to ensure that you're on top of your game.
In terms of the challenges faced in the regional supply chain, can you tell us a little bit more about those challenges pre and post COVID-19?
One of our major challenges here in Belize going into CARICOM pre-COVID, and it affects us even more post-COVID, is the logistics routing. We do not have a logistics that is as easily accessible as it is from first world countries. For example, there's only 2 vessels that call to Belize that really makes call into CARICOM. Although we have several shipping agents, they're all almost piggybacking on the same vessel at all times. So if that vessel failed to come to Belize for any given reason or any given time of the year, then it means that our suppliers or our customers on the other side would not be supplied with their requirements for that period, for that 1 week period or 2 week, depending on how long that vessel is out. Outside of that, and the additional and coupled to that as well, is the cost of logistics for moving from Belize to CARICOM. A customer could bring a container load of juice, using our own example, all the way out of Spain for far less than what he could buy it for in Belize. And when we dissect that, the biggest part of that chunk was the transportation or the ocean freight side of the business. Now, post-COVID has come with its own set of challenges outside of what we had before. And that's particularly on the payment schedule side. Your customers are now reducing their demand for product because their markets are pretty much closed. There's also the issue now of payment, whether or not that customer is able to pay as they were before, readily and on the deadline for payment, and you would normally give 30 to 45 days credit. Many times these credits are now being extended in excess of 60 days. That in itself is a problem for us on the ground here because then it affects our cash flow. Another challenge that comes with that is that in some cases, some of the customers are also faced with ability to have US currency. While they may have the ability to pay, they may not have the ability to have access to US currency. And so that comes as another challenge to us. In Belize, we are not by law authorized to accept any currency other than US currency because that's what our act speaks to.
Can you provide any final words on making it count in CARICOM?
I can't say it in no other words other than to say I love my CARICOM brothers and sisters, but I do also love my Belizean brothers and sisters. And so it is important for us to have the Belizean product marked on the shelves wherever we turn inside CARICOM. And so our aim is to try and ensure that we have that as much as possible. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Usher, for joining us on Industry Chat.
To see the full interview, click the link in our description or visit BELTRAIDE's Facebook and YouTube pages. In this episode of Made in Belize, we feature Western Dairies, a company renowned in Belize for its cheese and ice cream.
Here at Western Dairies, we started from 1967 producing milk, and our line is milk, and from there we diverted into other products that we could produce out of milk. Western Dairies cares for our customers with quality. We have our quality standards here, and we have our HACCP program running in our company. So we support the local market. We're working with 54 different farmers supplying milk to us, using 670,000 pounds of milk per month. And from there we do all our ice creams, we do our cheese, we do our fresh milks, flavored milks, sour creams that we are supplying to our local market and to export. We already started the exportation. We have been doing it to Grenada, that's Ireland, and we did it to Guatemala. Also, that's something we are looking into expanding into the export market. We work in our products are quality and are competitive out there in the market. So that's our aim to expand and get into the Caribbean.
Do you know what are the requirements and the process to export products from Belize? To ensure a seamless process, it is recommended that you hire a licensed customs broker who will prepare the customs export declaration form and ensure that all required export documents are in order. These documents include an export license, which is issued by the Belize Bureau of Standards and grants you the right to export to a specific country. When exporting plants, animals, or food products, a sanitary and phytosanitary certificate is needed and is issued by the Belize Agricultural Health Authority. Likewise, when exporting marine products, you must apply for an export permit from the Belize Fisheries Department. When declaring your goods to the Customs Department, a customs declaration form is required. This is prepared by our customs broker and submitted to the Customs Department for all goods and merchandises being exported. In addition, a commercial invoice which outlines the requirements of the export destination and includes information such as the letter of credit, transportation routes, Incoterms, and the value of goods is also required. You will also need a currency declaration form, which is issued by the Central Bank of Belize that tracks and records foreign exchange earned by local companies. Lastly, a certificate of origin is needed in order to qualify for duty-free tariffs. This is issued by the Customs and Excise Department, who is authorized to verify that the exported goods meets the rules of origin, a criteria that determines the national source of a product. Remember that having proper documentation and adhering to proper procedures will contribute to ensuring that the export process is completed smoothly. For more information, visit our website at www.belizeinvest.org.bz or email us at export@belizeinvest.org.bz.
Next time on Msme Talk Business, BELTRAIDE celebrates its 20th anniversary with a look back on our contributions over the years and the launch of Volume 7 of the Invest Belize magazine. I'm Nikki Augustine. Thanks again for watching, and catch us next time on Msme Talk Business.